Hey everyone, welcome to Friday Takeaway Podcast, the first one, the trial one with the video. And welcome my colleague, Brittain Ladd, a person whom I personally follow on LinkedIn, a person who does really insightful overviews on the industry of on-demand economy itself, retail, grocery delivery, food delivery, and everything that is happening on the market. I personally follow. My personal recommendation, if you don't follow as well. Well, I'm pretty sure that after today's conversation, my words will be justified. Brittain, if you could introduce yourself to the people who might not know you. What do you do? Why are you so keen on the industry? What was your path maybe? I know you worked at Amazon and you're quite deep in the industry, not just the perspective of what you write, but also of the deepness of your thoughts and projections that you always also put online. Would be great if you could introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Brittain Ladd. My background is very heavy in all things supply chain, logistics, strategy. I've lived and worked globally, lived in India, lived in Russia, lived in China, lived in Latin America, lived in Germany, of course, lived in the United States. And along the way, I've earned 3 master's degrees. So I've conducted a lot of research for my academic career, but also the fact that I've worked for Capgemini, I've worked for Deloitte. I've also been a contracted consultant for McKinsey, Bain, and several other large consulting firms. And yes, I did work for Amazon. I actually began my career serving in the United States Marine Corps in the United States, then was discharged and started working in logistics, eventually supply chain, ran Dell's global supply chain, and then was recruited by Amazon. So I've really been fortunate to have a lot of experience in logistics supply chain. And about 2 years ago, I started to research micro-fulfillment. And I also started to research new trends in grocery retail. And that's when I started to evaluate Getir and several other companies. And as I looked at that business model, I just started to write articles. And what I was doing was sharing my opinion of this is what I believe is going to occur. This is how this will progress. And I've been very accurate. And because I've been so accurate, I've had a very large number of people follow me globally, especially anyone who has an interest in rapid grocery delivery. So I'm certainly looking forward to speaking with you on this topic.
Awesome. Sounds very exciting. And I'm pretty sure that we could do the whole podcast only about your journey in retail and everything that you shared. I'm pretty sure that it would be a very interesting story. But what I really am keen in discussing with you is your core expertise in the grocery delivery, in the on-demand. And I want it to be like a conversation with 2 people who look into the same industry from different angles with different experience. And it's been a heck of a year, honestly. Like I started with putting out one post and it was mostly about food delivery. Now it's like so many news about grocery delivery that you could have a separate magazine about it, I believe. So it's quite an exciting industry to be in, I believe. And I really wanted to give an overview about it to the people. And from my personal belief, looking at other industries itself as well, like fintech and general retail and what is going on in general startup world, AI and virtual reality and things like that. I believe that the year 2021 could be the year of rapid grocery delivery or on-demand economy itself. And I believe so because not just because of the amount of money that is pouring in the industry or how much attention it got, but from the very core disruptive changes that are happening in the world and that are happening and affecting the way that we consume stuff and what we expect from what we consume. It touches all the services, everything that we buy and everything that we want, and it just basically sets the new standards. And it's not just about delivering faster than new and getting it in 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 15 minutes. It's about the general expectations and the general patterns that are changing quicker than groceries are being delivered, I believe. And that's why I think it's a massive and very important step for the whole industry of commerce in general, because we were in e-commerce, now it rapidly became Q-commerce, and the expectations and the standards are different. What do you think about the topic in general, and what do you think about this idea before we go deeper into the questions?
Well, in all honesty, I think the first thing we should come to an agreement on is, so what do we really call this? So when I first started to write about this topic, it was referred to as rapid grocery delivery. And just a little more background, I've been advising and supporting several of the largest rapid grocery delivery companies in Europe. I have multiple clients here in the US and globally. I have designed multiple rapid grocery delivery programs. One of them is just now launching in Brazil. I have one that's launching in New York City in about another month. So I have extensive experience,
Wow.
not only in working in this industry. So for those of you who don't know, I was the first person to recommend Amazon to acquire Whole Foods. I did that in 2013. I was the worldwide expansion leader for Amazon Fresh and Pantry when I worked at Amazon. And at Amazon, I designed stores and strategies and many other things related to groceries. When I chose to leave Amazon and open my own practice in 2017, the retailer that hired me first was Kroger. And when I worked at Kroger, I designed a massive strategy for them related to retail, grocery, new ways of making deliveries. I recommended that they partner with Ocado. I actually recommended they acquire Ocado. And it was while working at Kroger, I also began to look at the industry. And one thing jumped out at me more than any other. Consumers absolutely were wanting things faster, the need for speed. And so I started to refer to this as real-time retail. That was a phrase I came up with, real-time retail. Other people were using quick commerce. Other people were calling it instant needs. But I believe that what we're talking about and should start referring to is real-time retail, because consumers want instant gratification. And I believe what rapid grocery delivery has done is it's shown consumers and it's shown retailers what's possible. So it is absolutely possible to receive groceries in 10 minutes and 15 minutes. And I've written many times, and as you and I have even talked about, the argument I make is consumers are going to very quickly start asking this question: why is it I can receive my groceries in 15 minutes, but I can't receive a handbag, cosmetics, apparel, shoes, electronics, and other products? It is inconceivable to me that consumers are going to say, well, I'm more than happy to get my groceries in 15 minutes. And if something else needs to take a couple of days or 6-7 hours, I'm fine with that. No, they're not. What I've discovered through my research and through all of the work I've done is that what consumers really want more than anything else is that ability to make a decision on what to purchase and have it arrive immediately, literally in real time. And the reason for that is this: no matter what consumers say, they are still consciously aware of the fact that they've placed an order. And until they receive it, they honestly don't stop thinking about it. They're not thinking about it every hour on the hour.
They want it even more. They want it even more because they're like, I paid for it. I added it to the basket. I already made so much effort. I want it here now. I really love the example of Vyacheslav Bocharov from Samokat saying that when you want some water, you go to the tap and you don't have to wait for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You just have water, right? It's running water. And this is the same that needs to happen in classic retail, where basically everybody is like, okay, come to me. I have the stuff. Everybody has the stuff now. It's not the problem. It's about who is closer to the customer. I absolutely agree with you. And especially these recent Chinese news about billions of dollars sold in one day in the live marathon on these live shopping channels, social networks, I don't know. But this is just driving me crazy how quickly it is developing and how some people don't see it.
Correct. Correct. And so when it comes to the fact that we have the ability to start with groceries for instant needs for basically rapid retail, it only makes sense that it's going to transition to more. Because like I was saying, consumers want the ability to make a purchase and have it arrive, because once it's arrived, they're using it, they forget about it. And that's really what's going to drive this. And so I continue to be amazed at the number of retailers who aren't aware of this trend, who don't understand how big this is going to be. But no matter the fact that we're talking about groceries right now, this is really all things retail eventually are going to be delivered quickly. And in most cases with a goal of 15 minutes, if not sooner. So this is a massive trend, and 2021 really will be looked at as the year that retail began to transform.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the year of the beginning of new retail, of new consumption,
Correct.
not the year of the rapid grocery delivery, the year when live shopping started, right? That's what we can call it.
That's really what I'm saying. So I've written articles about social commerce, the metaverse, the future of virtual reality shopping, but everything I write about always talks about speed and the desire for speed on the part of the consumer. And so, yes, this is not the year of rapid grocery retail. This is the year of real-time retail, the spark that says real-time retail is possible. And that's what we're going to be seeing in the future very quickly, is all things retail being delivered much faster. That's where the growth is at, not delivering low margin groceries.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I get question like or a comment like, yeah, these guys are just burning money and there is no margin, like it's another scooter rent or something startup, they're all gonna die soon and things like that, and we're gonna talk about the funding and the stuff a little later. I'm like, you guys underestimate the importance and what these companies really are doing. Basically, from my understanding and belief, this is all about the infrastructure now and about acquiring the market from offline, not from each other, not Jokr fighting gorillas or Getir or Flink or all the companies out there, not like that. It's the fight of building the infrastructure and who has it first. And this is, again, the separate topic that we will touch today. But from your perspective, why do you believe that all these rapid grocery delivery companies are important for the world and for the industry? And if they are important at all, right? That you don't have to follow my vision, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to be very close. And how was it born in general? Why is it happening so quickly? I mean, in 2021, because previously it also was, there also were companies, right? Like Gopuff was a hookah delivery company, and they were not delivering groceries at all. And now it's like several billions of dollars. And there are a lot of Chinese examples, but still, why do you think, besides COVID, because it happened a little earlier with COVID, it got like super acceleration now, right? But why do you think it was the time for this shift? And when was it?
Well, really the shift I began to see was in 2020 because of what I had been researching. And I was living in Russia in 2019. I was very aware of Samokat, and I was really watching what they were doing. And it just made sense. I really thought I was witnessing something very special. And so when I began to research this exclusively and very detailed in 2020, what I saw was that this is an opportunity to change consumer behavior. And that's why it made sense to me. See, there's a lot of people look at it and say, well, it's because of COVID. And they're like, we'll just simply give them a better option. And I'm like, no, I never looked at it that way. I really believe that what happened is a group of individuals who had worked at Deliveroo and other companies, worked at Jet.com, they basically looked at the market and said, really what we keep being asked about is speed. And where is the opportunity? The opportunity was not to sell groceries. The opportunity wasn't to deliver groceries. That was already being done. The opportunity was to do it faster than it had ever been done before. And that's very important for people to remember. And once they began to look at it and say, well, we could deliver groceries faster than we've ever done before, then they stepped back and said, well, wait a minute. So what's the growth of this? And the growth of it, frankly, was, well, if we can deliver groceries fast, why can't we deliver other products fast? And so it just so happened that at the right time, a group of very smart individuals on multiple continents, frankly, they realize we have an opportunity to do something different. And yes, there are people who say, do we need 15-minute delivery? Well, let's go back to the 90s when Amazon was started. At that time, did we really need the ability to order product online? There were thousands and thousands of retail stores,
at that
thousands of them all over the US. So there was really no need for Amazon to start and become a company. But what Jeff Bezos saw was an opportunity to introduce a new service to customers. And that's what we see here. A group of individuals who said, we're not introducing a new form of grocery shopping. People can shop any way they want. What we're introducing is the ability to do shopping and delivery faster than it's ever been before. And that's expanding. So that to me is what's really driving this.
Absolutely, absolutely. We kind of discussed it and we touched it already. What is the opportunity and what is the whole reasoning behind it? But still, from the grocery perspective, why do you think the hype and the boom is exactly right now? Is it only because of the individuals, the smart individuals who had all this experience in last mile delivery, in Deliveroo, Uber, DoorDash, all these companies, and all of them started being more independent and seeing another opportunity? Or is it like this kind of mix that could have not happened if not to 2020, because still COVID had a big impact, right? People were stuck at home and everybody was just happy about delivering this stuff, right? At that point, it was not really about 15 minutes. It was about actually getting something, because the issues with supply chain were massive, especially in the beginning. And all these companies were not capable to keep up with the growth, right? They were, for several months, it was a battlefield for them, right? But could it have happened, and would it have the same market opportunity if not this acceleration of adoption of delivery and having all these people in these kind of universities of Uber and Takeaway and Glovo, or it was still inevitable, it's just a matter of time? Or like, what is your vision about it?
No, it was absolutely inevitable. You could go back and look at the things I started writing in 2014, 2015. And I always made the argument, actually 2013, I made this argument. I was really outlining for everyone that the future of retail is robotics, automation, and speed, all things speed. It just so happened that when COVID hit, it absolutely accelerated the environment for speed to become even more important. So yes, I certainly state that COVID gave us an opportunity to question, well, why can't we deliver groceries faster? We have all these people at home, we need to get their food to them sooner. But I have no doubt that even without COVID, probably in 2021, 2022, we would have seen these companies still come about. Now, maybe not as many, but certainly they would have come about, because again, it just makes sense that if we have millions, actually billions of consumers who are buying groceries, and it's over a $1 trillion industry, actually about $2 trillion globally, there's an opportunity there to find a way to make money. And how do you do that? You come up with a new business model. And the new business model was, well, what if I can get groceries to the individual faster?
Okay.
So yes, I believe this was going to be inevitable. COVID just simply accelerated the possibility of it happening. There was a reason to do it faster, and before, the reason really didn't exist. Individuals, companies are trying to come up with the reason why they should do this faster.
And yeah, this even like topic of whole discussion, the companies need to justify their need to deliver something better than others, right? Like why do companies even ask this question? Because faster is in many ways better, right? You get another competitive advantage. Why do you think companies still need to justify it to themselves if they need to be like faster or better or things like that? Why do companies have this kind of mindset? Do you think they believe they're strong enough with their existing competitive advantages and they just don't think that it matters? Or what is the logic behind it?
Well, honestly, if we look out throughout history and we've looked at businesses through the centuries, one thing really is in common. They all look for a way to compete, and they all look for a way to have a competitive advantage. So the reason why companies to this day continue to question, so how do I do something different? It's not that they look and say, we're doing something wrong. They're always asking, what is the next thing we can be doing? Where are there opportunities? And so it only makes sense to me that this is why we are seeing Tesco, for example, now partner with Gorillas. Tesco could have said, oh, this is a fad, it's a trend, we're not going to be concerned with it. But as Tesco watched this develop, to the credit of Tesco, what they asked themselves is, well, why can't we offer these groceries faster? Maybe we don't want to necessarily start our own program and hire a bunch of people to do it. But why wouldn't we as a company not want to offer this service to our customers? And so that's why when I understood that Consumer, the CEO of Gorillas, was going to partner with Tesco, I wrote a very complimentary report where I stated how intelligent and how wise it was for Tesco and Gorillas to do that. It just makes sense. And so now what we're going to see is other grocery retailers partnering with other rapid grocery delivery companies and offering that to their customers. And this is something we should touch on maybe later. But what we're really seeing now is, first, we had rapid grocery delivery companies that started to be a competitor or an alternative to grocery retailers. Now those same grocery retailers are saying it's better for us to partner with these rapid grocery delivery companies. So it'll be interesting to watch what impact does that have on the industry.
Absolutely, that is not even a question. The companies who do, like Tesco, like Carrefour, who was one of the earliest ones to do it locally and then take it to another level with Uber deal, right? Where basically they have the kind of know-how of how to do it in the dark store with Cajou. They have massive experience with their retail and the efficient fulfillment and massive data, what is more needed and how to do it more efficiently. And another infrastructure partner of Uber, who has much bigger fleet and much more customers who need this service. I'm asking about the companies who still do not take this step, or the companies who take so long to do it. For example, there is a company in Japan, Onigo, who also does 15-minute grocery delivery. And they were super quick this summer to launch it in several months. They got their first angel investment, and they were like super quick to start off the operations. And at the same time, after they launched, 7-Eleven made an announcement that they're going to roll out the operations of their on-demand grocery delivery, but they will do it in like several years. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, like 2025 or something like this. Why is it really a problem of a big corporate thing, or do they underestimate the trend, or what is it behind it? Why do they still need to justify it and not to take quick actions, and rather, even if it's wrong, rather say, okay, we tried? Even from the opportunity
again, Yeah, well, we really have to remember this. All companies live and die based on the capabilities and the skills of their CEO and executive team. And there are just simply companies out there that are better than others. And so this is why there are many companies that to this day have no desire or even any plans whatsoever to be involved in rapid grocery delivery, although they are in the grocery industry. So the reason for that is those executives have convinced themselves they know more about this than all the other individuals out there. And I've had conversations with executives who've told me, Brittain, we don't think this is anything more than a fad. We really don't see this lasting very long. And so we really have no intention of being involved in this. Now, my job wasn't to tell them they were wrong. I simply said, okay, that's an interesting opinion that you have. But when I asked them to go deeper in it, what they said was that in order for us to offer this service, we're going to have to make a big investment. It's simply something we don't know how to do. We really don't want to have to partner with someone to do it. And we don't know if our customers want it. So then that's when I asked them, I said, well, why don't you ask your customers then? Because your customers are more than likely learning about this from other means. They're not learning about it from your grocery store and your website, but they're certainly reading about this. They're hearing about it on the nightly news. It's in the newspaper. So speak to your customers and what's their opinion on this? What would they like? And so one of the companies, and it was actually a fairly sizable retailer, when they did that, they came back to me about a month later and said, we missed this. Because we were amazed at how many of our customers said they would actually like 15-minute delivery. So now what they're in the process of doing is trying to figure out, so how do they budget for this? How do they fund this? Now they know they have no choice. They have to be in it. But this was a company that was adamant it was only going to be a fad. So this is something I'm seeing with many other companies as well, that look at this and say, we don't really know where this is going, so we're not even going to get involved in it. I believe that's absolutely the wrong strategy. Even if you don't want to fund something like this and invest a lot of capital, you at least should partner with someone who can offer this service, pilot it, test it, get feedback from your customers. But if it's positive, if it's popular, then you have to go big. The one truism, the one fact about rapid grocery delivery is this: you cannot tiptoe into rapid grocery delivery. You are either in or you're out. And I'm amazed at how many companies foolishly, and I do mean foolishly, think that they can pilot rapid grocery delivery as if somehow all around them, this is expanding globally, but if they conduct a pilot and the results aren't what they thought it should be, that somehow that gives them an excuse for not continuing to offer it. My argument to them is no, you are either in it or you're out. And if you're in it, you have to be in it to win it. You have to be willing to make the investments. You have to have the partnerships. You have to do what it takes to offer this service and do very well. You offer a flawless service to the customer. And I'm currently working with clients who attempted to pilot and they failed miserably, but they still have an increasing number of their customers saying, we want this service. So now they have to start from ground zero again. They have to start from scratch because they tried to do a half measure. They tried to pilot it. And so now I'm working with these companies and putting them in contact, and I'm negotiating where they're going to leverage large household named rapid grocery delivery companies, the Gorillas, the Bikes, the Jokrs, and that, who are going to start providing this service for them because they have no choice. So yes, I agree with you. Some companies take a long time. They ignore trends. But again, it comes down to their executives. Executives who are mentally strong and who are willing to take risks, they will always be the companies that, in my opinion, do the best because they're not afraid to take that risk. It's those companies that sit back and they wring their hands and they wonder what they should do. And they are all concerned. They're the ones that are really struggling here because although rapid grocery delivery has only been around for about a year and a half, if you're just now getting started in rapid grocery delivery, in many ways, you're already behind. So you need to pick up the pace.
Let's look into the players, right? Who are there on the market? And would be great if we would kind of split the pre-COVID and after COVID situation? Because already on the micro fulfillment stage, before 2020, there were quite some players in China. Obviously, Miss Fresh, Dingdong, Meituan, they were already quite deep into it, and Miss Fresh and Dingdong, they basically started directly with this model and going on stock exchange this year. And also a lot of veterans like Gopuff in the US, Getir in Turkey, they were one of the earliest, Samokat in Russia. What, how do you think, and how would you characterize, maybe categorize these players, because they have quite different path, they have different funding, they have different environment around them. But knowing this market deeply, how would you maybe characterize and categorize the veterans before COVID, and what advantage or disadvantage do they have in terms of these kind of transition to new expectations after 2020 and things like that, and them being in the period of 2013 to 2017, 18, and how they are now, right, in the new market?
Well, I certainly look at Getir as being one of the gold standards, if not the gold standard in this industry. Delivery Hero would also be a company that I would put in that category. I would not put GoPuff in the category at all. GoPuff has a unique model. I think GoPuff gets a little too much publicity for what they do. I think they're going to struggle in Europe unless they're willing to make acquisitions or willing to invest billions. So I think they're going to have some trouble, but certainly I think they deserve credit for looking at instant needs. Remember, they did not start rapid grocery delivery. They got into this only because of what other companies in Europe had started. But prior to the pandemic, oh, absolutely. All of the companies you mentioned, especially Getir and Samokat, and I think they really are the ones that we should look to and say, look at what's possible here, especially Getir. Now, they have become about a $7.5 billion company, 7.6 billion. And I think they are where they are today because they went through a process. Remember, when Getir first started, they had no desire to have micro fulfillment centers. They started with vans, and they were going to put inventory on vans, and these vans were just going to drive around. What they quickly realized was that their customers wanted so many products, they couldn't fit them all on the vans. So then they're like, so now what do we do? And through a process of trial and error and discussion and lots of internal discussions and ability to think big and accept new ideas, they said, well, wait a minute, what if we open up smaller facilities and we actually fulfill from there? And they really deserve credit for generating interest in the trend of micro fulfillment. And what I really found interesting is at the same time Getir was doing this, I'm in the United States. I didn't even know who Getir was. And I was writing articles and I was working for Amazon. And the thing that I wrote for Amazon is I said, you know, Amazon, you could open up micro fulfillment centers, but you could simply franchise them, just like McDonald's franchises a restaurant. You franchise micro fulfillment centers. And I said it'd be an interesting model because I knew there were sellers out there, third-party sellers and things like this. And it was an opportunity for them to do something different. I honestly thought I was the only one who had that idea. And then a few years later, when I started to research Getir, I saw that they basically came up with the idea almost at the exact same I did. Now, I give them the credit for coming up with a better idea because they were actually implementing it. I simply was writing an idea. This is what I think we could do, but Getir was actually doing it. And I've always believed it's the companies that do things and they learn from it. That's how they take the company to the next level. I think we can look at Walmart and say that, and Amazon and other companies. So I absolutely believe there is no downside whatsoever. There are no cons whatsoever for the fact that Getir and Samokat and several others globally got an early start in this industry. I think it just makes them better because they have an ability to say, well, now that when we come up with a new idea, we know we can execute it because we've been executing for years now. Just like the founders of Bike, Slava and Rodian, their experiences with Samokat. So when they're in New York City launching, and they're launching in Chicago, and they have other cities they're launching, what they know they can do is succeed. And the reason why they're confident they can succeed is because they're applying the lessons learned from their work in Russia and launching Samokat. And that's why I always say to people, if I had to pick one company that I believe will win this thing, bike is certainly up there with the rest of them. Or a bike, I should say, is at the top of the list. But yes, I think these early adopters of RGD, rapid grocery delivery, deserve credit, but there's no downside. Does it mean that they're going to be the ones who win and are going to be the ones who are most successful at this? No, because the thing that may be a disadvantage to them is that the new entrants basically have learned from what they've done, and the new entrants are smaller, more nimble, they have very good technology, and they're incredibly well funded. And that's the thing that I don't think Getir anticipated, or some of the other companies, that the new entrants would be so well funded. Most startups don't receive the funding that a lot of the RGD companies do. And because of that, they're able to hang on, even though some of them are not that well managed, don't have technology, and frankly, don't have a very good business model. So that's something we have to take into account too.
Should we expect the same pace of them getting the money? How do you see it for a little bit smaller players, right? Like Wheezy and the story around all the market of UK, which is full of rapid grocery delivery companies. They need to invest in marketing the most and into B2B marketing. Could you share with us, why do these companies need so much, and how much more will they need?
That's an ability or an opportunity for gorillas to say, I don't need to open up a lot of micro fulfillment centers. I'm just going to have a radius of 15 minutes around each store. And now I was the first person to write on LinkedIn that I believe Wheezy is basically terminally ill. And I wrote a LinkedIn post not too long ago called Wheezy's Last Breath. If you're sitting in front of me and you lay out a business model of this is how you're going to be profitable, this is how you can scale and be profitable, I'm investing in you, guaranteed.